Hello, my name is Pranit. I am product manager for AI Ops from Broadcom. In this video, we are going to talk about how to download RESTMon and configure it and run it. Once again, the agenda in detail. Here we are going to talk about where to download RESTMon and do a walkthrough of the uh, package contents. Second thing is how to configure and run RESTMon. So in this presentation, I'm going to use the VM version. RESTMon has two flavors, a containerized version and the VM version. And third is we're going to verify if the process is running properly or not. Let's start with the download first. RESTMon can be downloaded from both DXSAS or the Broadcom support site, which is support.broadcom.com. On the DXSAS, to navigate to this page, simply click from the launchpad, click on the settings, and then the downloads, and the DXRESTMon is listed in this table here. Simply click on the file to download. The file size is about 1 GB, so a fast internet connection will definitely help. It can also be downloaded from the support site. Search for the DX Operational Intelligence queue and choose the appropriate version, and the RESTMon package will be present in the OI folder. In this example, I've chosen the OI 21.3 release. Next is how to configure and deploy RESTMon. So once we download the RESTMon file, it will be downloaded on the system as a zip file. Let's start with unzipping the package and reviewing the contents of the package. When the package is unzipped, I'll see four folders or directories here: Docker, Helm, ODC Lifecycle Management, and VM. The Docker contains the container image of RESTMon. The Helm contains the Helm charts for deploying on OSC. ODC Lifecycle Management. So these are some additional microservices required in OI when using the on-prem OI version 21.3.1. And it can be ignored when you're using DXSAS. But these services are required to be added to 21.3.1 manually, and the steps to deploy them are documented and available on the text docs. The next one is the VM folder. So this folder contains the VM version that can be run on Windows or Linux. So we will be talking about the Docker version in the upcoming videos and demos. For this video, our scope will be to show how to configure and run the VM version. Once I've unzipped the package, I'll navigate to the VM directory. Here I see another two things here, the RESTMon 2.2. Let's go in here. Here again, I see a list of other files and directories that are shown here. And there are two key configuration files here, which are present under the config folder. These are the application.properties file and the restmon.json file. Out of this, configuring restmon.json is the prerequisite before starting the process, whereas the application.properties has a reasonable default set for all the properties, and it is not required to change anything initially for the first startup. Again, we will cover these knobs in the application.properties in detail in the upcoming videos. So let's talk about how to configure the restmon.json file. So this is the file, and the first step will be to add the OI integration details. And this is in the very first section, and it looks something like this as shown. And these details can be acquired from the connector parameters page, which again is present on DXSAS, or if you're using an on-prem version, it will be present on the DX OI. Again, to go here, navigate to settings. From the launchpad, go to settings and connector parameters. You will see the couple of things here like the cohort ID, Jarvis endpoint, TAS endpoint, and NAS endpoint. So copy the TAS endpoint and the cohort IDs into their respective fields in the file. The next is the token. Token can also be generated from DX SAS settings token. Again, the path remains the same in case of on-prem OI as well. So in this case, what we need is a tenant token for ingesting the data. So a new tenant token will be required. You can create a new tenant token and then add it to the file here. Leave the admin route as it is. Specify the HTTP timeout in seconds, and that's it. A completed RESTMon JSON file is going to look something like this. You have the type, which is by default HTTPS. There's host name, the token, which is a tenant token. The port is also by default 443. Cohort ID is what we got from the parameters page, and admin route is the default value, and HTTP timeout is the timeout in seconds. And that's it. So now the next is to start using RESTMon and start running it. So if you're running on Windows or Linux, it could be you run the run.sh or the run.bat commands to start the RESTMon. The only prerequisite at this point is Java 11, and make sure that the Java path is set. Uh, and that's it. Once you run the run.sh or run.bat, uh, the RESTMon gets started, and it takes about 30 seconds to start. And then now the process is up and running. Now to validate if the processes or RESTMon is running properly or not, so all you need to do is to go to OI and navigate to DX dashboards and search for the RESTMon monitoring overview dashboard, which is an out-of-the-box dashboard. So once I open this dashboard, here I can see that my running RESTMon instance is by the name of master default, which is the default name assigned to this RESTMon instance. I can later on change the name as required. I can also see now that the master default is now active, and I see the heartbeats are coming in. These heartbeats are coming in at 15-second intervals. Also, I can see the liveness status and the readiness status uh, for for this instance. What this basically means is that RESTMon is now started and it is ready to ingest data. The but it has not started the data ingestion. And to start the data ingestion, we will have to load a profile, and that we will cover in the next video. That's all in this one. Please follow us for more in-depth videos and demos in the future. Thank you.